Alright folks, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Lee the Evil Wizard. Welcome. And in this video, we're going to take a look at some drums today. Today, we're going to take a look at Deviant Drums from Chaos Tone. So let's check these out. These are Deviant Drums from Chaos Tones. Yeah, these are done by Jesse Bilson over at Chaos Tones. From what I can gather, he created this drum VST to help with his own songwriting, and this version has just been updated. There were some bugs in the original one, and he's done some little upgrades as well. Now, I may have found one or two other little bugs, but one of the bugs I found seems to have sorted itself out, so... Anyway, let's dive down into Studio One and let's take a look at these. Now, I'm not going to go through a comprehensive walkthrough of the program. Jesse's done that over on his channel. I will leave a link to his channel down in the description, and you can go and check his initial walkthrough, which he shows you absolutely everything that you can do with this VST. He's got a few other videos out on it as well, and he's just recently put out a video showing all the updates, all the bug fixes, etc, etc. So let's put my goggles on at first so I can see what the hell I'm doing. When you load it up, first screen you get is the drum view, so you've got all your drums there. And all your cymbals. And then you get all your presets. So you've got the initial Deviant Drums, which I don't think's got any EQ or anything on it. And now he's done an initial drums part 2. You've got some metal kits in there based off various albums and various artists. So as you can see, you've got Laid to Ashes, 5 Deadly Attacks. No, I'm saying nothing about Monster Energy Metal. Far Beyond Power. What else we got in there? We've got Lux Metal. So you've got an idea of what these presets are going to sound like. So you've got some metal ones there. You've also got some rock ones in there as well. Yeah, I've got some chaotic ones. I think these are the new ones that have been added. And then some developer kits as well, which are new as well to these. Next to that, you've got your drum mixer view where you can access your EQs and everything else. And you can actually link all these. You can tune, you put your own tuning in on there as well. You can mute, solo, etc. And it's actually got an EDM section in there as well. So if you, which I think you can automate, keyframe, whatever you want to call it. So if you just want to add some extra power into your kit, say on choruses or breakdowns, you can automate that in. Or if you're just writing some EDM music and you just want to use an EDM kit, if you're into that sort of thing. But to get to the sort of mixer page, all you do is just click on the drums. You get a bit of an EQ there, a bit of transient shaping and a reverb send. I'm not using the inbuilt reverb, I am using an external reverb. This is one of the bugs I think I've found. Now, the original bug he has sorted out, which was when you put it to the multi-outs, the kick and the reverb were coming out of the same output. He sorted that out now. This could be a thing in Studio One though, where the way Studio One works is when you load any sort of VST up and you have multi-outs, actual VST itself, as you see, contact heat, and it says contact 7, that acts as the sort of bus, if you will, the drum bus in this case. Stereo out 1 is the reverb, and the master comm only seems to be affecting that stereo out 1. The way Studio One works, or whether it is a little bug. Sorry, Jesse. Apologise. I don't try and look for these things. It's just something that cropped up. But if you just have everything going out of one stereo out, that does obviously affect everything, as does the EQ. Like I say, you can get to the individual EQs just by clicking the labels at the bottom, and you can do the cymbals all together. If you're into the cymbal mixer, same again, you've got all your different controls in there as well. And also you've got some quick presets in there, so you've got all sorts of different kits, all sorts of different cymbals, and some master presets in there as well, and you can save and load your own ones up. Then you've got your MIDI mapping. You've got several different MIDI mappings in there, and you can you can have your own custom ones as well, and you can save and load your own presets in there. At the minute I have got it set to Easy Drummer. Now this is another thing that I found. Every time you go into that session, it will load back up to the Chaos Tones mapping. So if you've set it up for Easy Drummer, you'll have to change that back. One reason why I've set it up for Easy Drummer is the MIDI grooves I've uploaded are written for Easy Drummer. That's the only reason why I've done it. But I have set a MIDI mapping up for the Chaos Tones as well in Studio One. And just above there, you've got a global selection for your velocities, but you can also sort of go into them individually as well. You've got some EDM stuff in here as well, and then you've got all sorts of different buttons here and how brutally you want your EDM. Also, if you click that button at the bottom, it sort of purges the samples that you're not using and just loads up the ones that you are using. So it just saves a little bit of RAM for you. So that's always a good thing. Back on the drum view, like I say, you've got all your drums, and if you click the triangle there, there's a list of all the drums that you can pick. They're all the snares, which is, there's quite a few snares in there. Bit less kicks. There's only a couple of toms in there. A few more in that one. And then there's all your hi-hats, and same with the other cymbals. So if you've got a kit that or a preset, you think, oh, yeah, I like that, but I don't quite like that snare or those cymbals or those crashes, you can change them around, which is cool. Let's have a listen to the drums on their own. I've done hardly any processing on these, not that much at all. I didn't touch the EQ within the program. Outside of the program, I've done the tiniest amount of processing. So this is what the drums sound like with the little bit of processing I've got on. I went for the leaders of the pack. It just sort of seemed to go with the riff that I came up with. So this is what that sounds like. That's what that sounds like. I will show you the processing I've got on. I did do a little bit of external EQ on the kick just to bring a bit of the clickiness out. That's all I did. And I may have just taken a tiny amount out. Yeah, it weren't even worth taking that out. But I have got a clipper in there as well, just to sort of beef up the kick as well. On the snare, I was really happy with how the snare was sounding. So all I've got on there is the same again. I've got that same clipper just to beef it up a little bit, even though it is quite beefy. The toms, as you see, I've got no processing on the toms except the 2 floor toms. And all I've got on there is drum gate. I've just put the silencer on there, because I find with drum VSTs, and this goes with any drum VSTs, I do find when you get to sort of bigger rack toms or the floor toms, you sort of do tend to get that sort of long tail. It can be a bit distracting in the mix. Just cut that tail off and that's it. It sort of just tightens things up a bit. That's all I've got going off on the toms. The cymbals, I did route. It's route, not route. The hats and the ride out to their own channels. Then the rest of the cymbals, I did put to one channel to sort of create a overhead style mix. All I've done with them is just on the hats, just take that little bit of harshness out in the top end. Probably the same with the ride, yeah, and just sort of tail that real top end up. You don't need it on the ride. It is a lower. And then I did have some EQ on there, but then doing some messing about, I didn't actually do anything with the EQ, so I just switched it off. On the bus, I have got a little bit of processing going off on there. So using the BSA drum bus, I think I'm just getting a couple of dB of gain reduction, added some saturation, and just sort of brightened the drums up a little bit. Yeah, goes up to about 3.5 dB, maybe just hitting 4 when there's a bit of drum fill, which you would expect. Just some EQ in there. Everything below 40 Hz has gone, and I've just dipped a little bit out in that mid-range. That's all I did. Then I've got all the drums going off to a drums distortion, drums crush, whatever you want to call it. And I'm using that same BSA, but obviously on the slam mode, getting a bit more gain reduction there. Didn't do anything with the EQ. And then I'm sending everything bar the kicks. I'm even sending some cymbals to reverb, and I'm just using Panda Rooms from Purified, just using the main drum room reverb, just to give it a bit more rooms. What I did forget to say is there's no separate outputs for overheads and rooms. They are baked into the direct channel, so you kick, snare, toms. Don't think the cymbals do. Right, you can decide how much of that you want. Let's have a listen to some of the presets. So, leader of the pack is the one I picked for that track. So, you've got Laid to Ashes, and I'm not going to touch anything what I've done previously. I'll leave the external processing on there. That, as you can hear, you've got that more sort of piggy snare to that one, as you would with that sort of Lamb of God sound. Go on then, we'll have a listen to 5 Deadly Attacks. Yeah, it's not a bad sounding kit. Go on then, let's have a listen to some Lux Metal. 1 or 2 more on the metal. Let's have a look. Some Psycho Hopeful. The Chaotic ones. This is Bit Death. Aggressor. Oh, looks like it's got a bit of an EDM kick in there. I'll look at some of the developer ones. Big nasty one. Yeah, we've got plenty of room on that one. Near and clear. As you can hear, that one's a bit more of a pingy type snare. Let's have a look, listen to the initial kits. That's initial kit 1 and initial kit 2. Yeah, that snare doesn't sound quite as beefy on that one. Couple of the rock ones. Freaky Leash. Actually, that might have worked with that track as well. Jane's Diary. And one more. Hot Cali Spice. Plenty for you to choose from there. It doesn't come with any grooves or a groove player, but if you've got sort of any pre-done MIDI, or if you write your own drum parts, then that's not a problem. But if you've got if you've got some MIDI grooves like what I've used in this track, you should be able to find some MIDI grooves that will fit with which fit with the major mappings. You might just have to tweak some of the hits on one or two things, but you get there or thereabouts. So that was Deviant Drums from Chaos Tones. What do I think about these things? Do they get the wizard seal of approval? Or do they get the finger of doom? Well, for me, they definitely get the wizard seal of approval. Now, I've been using these for a couple of 3 months or so now. You have heard them on a couple of tracks here and there in other demos. I think you can get a pretty good sounding drum sound straight away and then just tweak it to how you want, with not much tweaking at all. From what I can gather, like I said, I think Jesse sort of come up with this program because he's a songwriter, just so he's got a good sounding VST to work with, some good sounding drums straight off the bat, so he can get to writing songs himself, and he's put it out to the rest of the world. Any sort of really negatives? Not really. I can see why he's not done separate rooms and overheads, but that would have been nice to have separate rooms and overheads, but I can see why he's baked them into the actual individual channels rather than doing separate channels. Hey ho, I'm just being a bit picky, I suppose. And like I say, there's that little bug that I found with that main channel, the sort of in the mixer for the master comp and the master EQ, that just seems to be affecting the reverb channel when you've got everything going out of separate channels. I did find another little bug when I just sort of had everything going out of separate channels, including all the cymbals. The splashes and chinas were also coming out the reverb channel, but when I swapped it and just had all the cymbals going out of one channel, they went out of the cymbals channel. Like, okay. Am I going crazy here? Have I found a little bug? I don't know. If I have, I do apologise, Jesse. Like I say, I don't mean to find these things. I think there's some good presets in there. Like I say, it's going to get you to sort of 80-85% of where you want to be, and then you just tweak as you need to, either with little bit of EQ, either the inbuilt EQ in there, or as I done it, just put it on separate channels and just do some external EQing just to sort of get everything to fit together inside the mix. I will leave a link to the Chaos Tones YouTube channel where Jesse's done a walkthrough video of the VST, much better than what I can do. Obviously, it's his VST, he knows it inside out. Like I say, he's done a recent video in the last couple of weeks or so showing all the updates, all the bug fixes, etc, etc. And I will leave a link to the Chaos Tones website where you can download these and check them out for yourselves.
Oh, Mrs. I say.
And if you want to grab yourself some Evil Wizard merch,
there's a link to the merch store down in the description.
But That's all from me, folks.
I will catch you in the next one.
Right folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. You can follow me on social media and you can get my music online, and if you want to support the channel, there's Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal links. They're all down in the description. Click up here to subscribe and click the link down there for videos that you may not have seen. Keep it loud and keep it heavy.